Morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. The SID Israel-TaiwanICDF Cross-sectorial Partnership Knowledge Sharing webinar is getting started. To begin, we are very delighted to invite Deputy Secretary General of Taiwan ICDF, Mr. Shi Lijun, to deliver his opening remarks.
Ms. Yada, Ms. Verby, distinguished speakers and dear participants, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening whenever you are. On behalf of the Taiwan ICDF, it is a great pleasure to welcome you all to the webinar on science, technology, and innovation applications for environmental sustainability and disaster management. First of all, I would like to thank myself and SID Israel for co-hosting this first ever joint event with us. Although we live in a state of multi-crisis, environmental risks are one of the most critical long-term threats to the world. The increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather disasters caused by climate change threaten millions of people's livelihoods, especially in developing countries. To address these concerns, we can leverage science, technology, and innovation, which provide a path forward for accelerated sustainable transformation through more efficient research and implementation processes. As Taiwan's only official aid agency, the Taiwan ICDF plays a key role in the country's official development aid. We are dedicated to boosting socio-economic development, enhancing human resources, and promoting economic relations in our many developing partner countries. We also leverage our expertise in STI skills and applications to assist our allied and partner countries in reconciling environmental and developmental needs while also preparing for crisis, building resilience, aiding disaster applications, management, and promoting environmental sustainability transition in line with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Over the few years, the Taiwan ICDF has worked intensively with like-minded partner countries. As we know, Israel and Taiwan have much in common, including our abundance of human capital and the laudable success in STI sectors. In 2022, Global Cooperation and Training Framework International Workshop was determined and first held in Israel. Moreover, this year's Multi-Stakeholders Forum on Science, Technology, and Innovation for SDG also discusses the topic of rapidly emerging frontier technologies and emerging science issues and sustainable development. Based on our country's robust bilateral relations, BASHEF and Taiwan ICDF hosted a working meeting in June of 2022. In the following August, SID Israel joined a second meeting in a trilateral partnership to explore potential cooperation opportunities. With that, we are very grateful to have various experts from Israel and Taiwan's government, ODA agencies, international NGOs, and the private sectors in attendance. In today's webinar, we will share our action plans and some of our best practice for mobilizing STI towards sustainable transformation for better resilience in the field of environmental sustainability and disaster management, as well as some strategies for helping the public and private sectors work together to expand aid efficiency in developing countries. I believe that today's webinar provides an excellent platform to participants to develop an understanding of STI technologies and their application in sustainable climate resilience, and further It symbolizes the closer cooperation and commitment to partnership among us. I hope participants, particularly those operating at the cross-sector of ODA and STI, take every opportunity to explore innovative ideas at these events. And I look forward to working together to achieve a more stable, prosperous, and resilient future for all. With that, I wish this webinar great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shi. Next, we will also like to invite the Vice President of Israel-Asia Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Nadav Ben Yehuda, to deliver his opening remarks.
Hi, good morning, everyone. If you can hear me well, please give me a thumbs up on your cameras. Can you hear me well? Okay, this is great. So my name is Nadav, and you are here with me in the countryside of the country of Israel. I'm here with my students today, so it's beautiful to be here this morning. First of all, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce of Israel and Asia, I would like to thank, first and foremost, the Society of International Development, the Israeli branch, to Tanya, to Dana, and all the team that were working relentlessly, very hard on all the programs, and of course, this one that we're participating here together today. I would like to share with you about, the multi-sectoral situation of how do you get like companies and other sectors as well to operate like in emergency situations and also in like the international development arena, let's say. Among the other things that I do, I consider myself like a 98% Nepali myself. I'm a senior advisor of the Nepal embassy over here in Israel and also the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce of the two countries. And about 2 years ago, we had a major crisis, as you all know, the pandemic of the COVID globally. And Nepal was in a dire situation at a certain point with, I think it was the second wave. And we were all thinking over here, how can we help the people of Nepal, especially when Israel was a little bit more advanced in the situation with the vaccinations and everything else. Now, when you are sitting around the table thinking about how can you, like a few, like a very a nice group of people can help a country. We're not talking even about like helping a community or helping, like a village or something like that, a full country in a full-blown situation of a pandemic, a worldwide global situation. And we were thinking about how can we like get the people inside to help our brothers and sisters in another country. We sat down together with so many people from different sectors, from the business sector and the governmental sector, and also the diplomatic section. And everyone together was sitting and thinking about how could it be done. Everything eventually was managed by the embassy of Nepal in Israel. But we were coordinated with so many people. Eventually, we gathered funds and donations of a little bit more than $1.5 million and about 19 tons of medical equipment. It was actually the first time that Nepal Airlines landed in Israel in history to gather all the things. It was sent by the Prime Minister of Nepal. And the situation is that among us, in all those organizations, in all different countries, in Taiwan and in Israel, in the business sector and the governmental one, we have a lot of good people who would like to help, especially in emergency situations, and more than that, in the international development arena. All of us together has a lot of connections, a lot of ideas, a lot of brainstorming to do together, and we can definitely do a lot of work together to get ourselves into helping more and more people with our minds, with our funds, with our connections, and everything that we can definitely do. So all this, the program that we're having right now is an amazing initiative by Taiwanese people, by the Israeli people, by SID Israel, and everyone else involved. I wish all of us, and actually the world, to have more and more gathering like that, because we can definitely do a lot more together. We have like a very small world in the global.
Nadav, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now? Okay. So my last sentence was that we are right now in the situation of not the B2B anymore, not the G2G. We're on the P2P, people to people. This is the most important part in order to coordinate between each other. And I wish all the best to all the participants today, all the roundtables and all the gatherings. May us all have the best ideas and initiatives to do together. So thank you, SID Israel, and thank you to all the participants today.
Thank you. Then I would also like to welcome Ms. Evie Verbin, the CEO and founder of Good Vision and SID Israel Board of Directors, to deliver his opening remarks and short presentation.
Thank you very much. Good morning and good afternoon there. I'm very happy to be here. It's very important for us to kick off this collaboration. I didn't plan in advance with Nadav, but I think that I can be a good follow-up to his opening remarks because he spoke about the importance of the cross-sector partnership, and exactly this is what I want to emphasize. And maybe I will put it one layer behind, and I'll give you also some lessons learned during the last disaster earthquake in Turkey a few months ago, in which we were able to facilitate a cross-sector partnership to the benefit of the people of Turkey. Tanya, you can move on with the presentation because I just want to say I'm part of Grand Thornton. It's a global network. You can move on, which also has an office in Tel Aviv and an office in Taiwan. And we see a great importance in collaboration between the two countries. Can you move on? Actually, when we speak
I don't
about
have a presentation, so there you go.
Yeah, you can go. You can move on as I speak. I'm the chairman of the sustainability committee, but previously I worked at the foreign ministry, so I have a perspective of the three sectors. I was advisor to His Excellency, the late Shimon Peres, the Nobel Prize laureate. He was the foreign minister, and I always remember that he taught us as young advisors how important it is to collaborate between the sectors and between the states. He spoke a lot about pollution and disasters that have no border, you know, because we are all human beings and we need to attack it. If you can move on, please do it. Last month, when the issue in Turkey took place, we developed on the go a very interesting model of cooperation between SID, the umbrella organization of all the civil society development organizations, the private sector, and governmental agencies. It was not formal. It was just because of the motivation of the people. We have a lot of lessons learned. I'm representing now the private sector. I work on the sustainability issues of the big corporation in Israel, and we developed. You can move on. And we developed within the framework of sustainability a group of 100 companies that promote sustainability and the social engagement of the employees and of the companies, because we believe that each sector has its own added value. The private sector has a lot of resources, can respond very fast, usually more fast than other sectors. It can take decision very fast. The government, of course, has all the know-how and all the overall perspective of what happened. And the civil society is very connected to the ground and to the needs and on the human level. So within the arena of corporate responsibility, the community involvement is one of the pillars. Of course, we also deal with environmental issues and ethical issues. You can move on. And it's this trend of engaging the private sector to help the community, to help the environment is very popular in Europe, recently also in the United States and in the rest of the world, in Asia as well, and also here in Israel. We know that many social and economical trends increase the awareness of taking care of the private sector players to the environment and to the society. By the way, they also do it because of risk management for them and reputation, but it doesn't matter. It helps them. And if you know how to push the buttons, you can do it together with them. Can you move on, please, Tanya? Okay, you can move on, please. Yeah, so this is exactly what I wanted to show with you. We develop a very simple technology different. It's not, we didn't have any software. We just use a WhatsApp group of 100 companies that are willing to help humanitarian needs. And I can tell you a secret of somebody who is doing it for many years, that once there is a disaster, the motivation of the companies to help is very high, but there is no data. There is no, it's like in war, nobody knows, there is uncertainty. So they really want some kind of a guiding hand. It can be guiding hand of the foreign ministry. It can be the guiding hand of the other ministries, but each one that can take the initiative and can give them the needs from the ground, especially in a disaster like what took place in Turkey. It's very difficult to get a clear picture of the needs. So we developed a group of 100 companies. By the way, the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals, number 17, the goals say partnership for the goals, meaning partnership for sustainability. So it's also part of the directive and understanding of the United Nations that you need to make a cross-sector partnership. And then SID, as an umbrella organization on the left corner, has a very direct access to all the civil society organizations. Dana was very instrumental, the vice president of SID was very instrumental in putting together what happened on the ground on one hand, what maybe to create collaboration between the civil organizations. Some of the civil organizations sent immediately, as the immediate response people to Turkey. And just we allow, of course, with calls from the Israeli IDF, from the Israeli Foreign Office, from the ambassador there, what are the needs? We try in a very simple ways to put a picture of what are the needs and to start to really in a mild way to synchronize between companies who want to give some support and the needs from the ground. Can you move on so I can show you some on the ground examples? Okay, we started very simply. We started by just putting LinkedIn, Facebook, and all the social networks ideas that we are online. We are waiting for companies to join us. So we have just no money, no resources. We just put it on the LinkedIn and the Facebook. You can move on. And then we immediately saw a very positive response by companies. You can see on the right side, this is, we saw people, companies that make shoes donated 2,000 or 3,000 pair of shoes to the refugees. You know, they were leaving their houses at night because of the earthquakes. They didn't have enough boots and warm shoes. We gave immediately on the airplane after 2 days 3,000 shoes. We gave Asuta, which is a hospital, gave some kind of technical or medical equipment. You can move on. It's just in a nutshell. Sano, which is a cleaning company, gave all the hygiene products, and Delta Galil, which is a textile company, gave 2,000 pairs of socks just to have, you know, people who become wet and cold. They had a really, and the shops were closed, a lot of socks. Okay, so really, this is something that motivated us. I think we have a lot of lessons. It's not perfect. I'm saying the truth. We need to organize a better ways of communication, maybe to have a private sector and a SID representative in the round table in the foreign ministry, in the operation room. I really believe, and I have an experience of many disasters in the past, that the private sector can be a very influential partner and friend for all the disaster response efforts. Again, just wanted to give you in a nutshell some theory and some on the ground lessons. I wish us a very fruitful day and learning, and we as the board member of SID support the CEO Tanya and all the team in the good effort they are doing, and we really welcome you, our friends from Taiwan, to continue the cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your sharing. Now we are moving to the next second session of today's webinar. We would like to focus on topic of mobilizing science, technology, and innovation for better resilience. It's a pleasure to hand the stage over to our moderator, the CEO of SID Israel, Ms. Tanya Merkes.
Thank you very much. I am honored to be here with you today, and thank you very much for our speakers in the opening session. I think it was a great introduction and background to this day. I am happy to invite our first speaker of this session, and please, I apologize ahead of time if I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly, Mr. Yunping Wang, who is the Deputy Director of Technical Cooperation Department for International Cooperation and Development Fund in Taiwan, ICDF. He leads a team of planning and management of operations of overseas technical missions for technical assistance projects. Prior to being in the Technical Cooperation Department, he served as the leader of Taiwan Technical Mission in Haiti and as a specialist for agronomy of Technical Mission of Taiwan in Nicaragua. Furthermore, he's also worked in the District of Agricultural Research Extension Station of Cultural Agriculture. He received both his MS and BS in agronomy from National Taiwan University. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tanya. Dear partner from Marshall College, ladies and gentlemen, good day. My name is Yunping Wang. It is my honor to be part of this great occasion and share with you our work and experience of using STI application to support Taiwan's allies to address the development challenge and enhance the environmental resilience. And I'm also excited to take this opportunity to learn from this great workshop how we can better support partner countries with STI in the future. My presentation will be covering 4 parts. First, I will briefly introduce TaiwanICDF to give you an overall picture of who we are and what we do. Second, I will share with you how TaiwanICDF apply Taiwan's experience and advantage on STI to support allies countries to address different challenges. Third, I will present some detailed project cases that we carry out in Taiwan's foreign aid program. And finally, to conclude with some takeaway reflection from our experience of using STI application in ODA. Based on Taiwan's leading expertise and value, TaiwanICDF project focus on 6 co-prioritized areas, including agriculture, information and community technology, public health, education, environment, and SME development. To fulfill our mission, these areas are operations and carried out from 4 dimensions, which are technical cooperation, humanitarian assistance, education and training, and investment lending. As you can see from this slide, we currently have 60 ongoing projects in 20 countries and 21 technical missions with around 160 professionals in the field. Moreover, since 2015, we have aligned our strategy plan with the UN SDGs, and our approach and priorities are driven by the key challenges faced by our partner countries, including food security for agriculture, ICT-based public service for better governance, climate resilience for environment, healthy and SDGs in public health, higher education, vocational training and capacity building for education, entrepreneurship, economic development, and global partnership for SME development. With the effect of pandemic, global conflict, and climate change, the challenge for international development is more complex than ever. To address these challenges for better resilience, we dedicate to use STI technologies in 4 areas. They are climate smart agriculture, ICT for good governance, risk reduction, and resources management. In the following slide, I would like to share with you some project cases about how we apply STI to carry out projects objectives and what positive impact it could bring to our partner countries and international communities. The first case here I would like to share with you is a climate smart agriculture for climate resilience. In the Caribbean country, St. Kitts and Nevis face the impact of climate change, and it has become more serious in recent years, especially droughts, which caused the drop of total crop production by 30% in 2017, and which affecting national food security and farmers' livelihood. In order to enhance agricultural adaptive capacity to climate variability, our project introduced drought tolerance crop variety to mitigate environment stress and disaster prevention technology by establishing a data collection mechanism for early warning, and also by set up micro weather station with field IoT sensor for agricultural microclimate to assist in the implementation of precision agriculture, and also develop climate resilient-based agricultural cultivation information mobile service software, which is actually an app to increase the availability of agricultural information. In this case, we assist the country's agricultural agency to establish an information dissemination mechanism for crop disaster mitigation and prevention, which with this system, farmers can use to minimize the damage from the disasters. The second case here is also occurring in St. Kitts and Nevis. To boost the economic development, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis has encouraged land investment and transaction since 2010. However, the land administration system at that time was inefficient, and land transcription will take so much time, so which limited the government's effort to boost activity in this area. As a result, in this project, in the first step, we help St. Kitts and Nevis establish a land administration information system, and we help them to convert the land property information into electronic format. Second, we strengthen land measurement techniques by developing land measurement standard operation procedures and hold GIS land measurement capacity building courses for the authority. And third, we enhance local authorities' capacity in system maintenance and information security by assisting the ICT Center to receive ISO 27001 certificate. With the system, we shorten the transaction time of land property from 7 months to 3 months. The third case here, I would like to share with you how we support grower of SIDs and boost food production and improve resource management efficiency through technology. In St. Lucia, limited arable land and lack of technical support and market information is the biggest challenge for the farmers. As a result, our project assists farmers increase locally production of their crops by choosing and promoting suitable crop variety for the farmers and enhance productivity by capacity building. Second, we enhance farmers' organizations post-harvest skill and assist them to get the HACCP certification to sell the product to supermarket and a hotel to increase farmers' income. Third, we help them to develop an application named iFarm app to monitor the productivity and market price to improve the farmers' organization's resilience to improve their situation of vulnerable of the price shock. In the final case here, I would like to share with you is how we use science and innovation technology to risk reduction, which in this case is not the risk. Usually we will, when we talk about risk reduction, we will mention about natural disaster. But here I would like to share with you a case with a famous banana pest named yellow leaf disease caused by the race Fusarium TR4, which is a very serious pest for the banana. As we know, banana is one of the most important economic crop in Latin America, which the export industry was around $10 billion each year. There was no yellow leaf disease in the Latin America until 2019. In that year, Colombia has confirmed the presence of this type of pest in the country, which was the first verified case in the American continental. And the banana export industry confronted with the Fusarium TR4 risk very serious. So in this project, TaiwanICDF cooperate with OISA, which is the International Regional Organization for Plant and Animal Health of Latin America, to develop the capacity to control Fusarium TR4 and improve the resilience of regional banana production. In this project, the first step, we work with the National Taiwan University and Taiwan Banana Research Institute to establish a set of quick screen capability in the field and diagnostic technology in the laboratory. And second, we capacity building for customer quarantine personnel, workers of banana export business, and farmers to raise their awareness for this kind of new pest in America continental. Third, we introduced a pest resistant variety named Formosanna from Taiwan to Latin America to help them to improve their resilience for this kind of new pest. And finally, we use the satellite images for monitoring and detection for this kind of pest. In this kind of technology, TaiwanICDF cooperate with Taiwan National Space Organization on using data cube to monitor large-scale plant disease. In here is this kind of yellow leaf disease. In this cooperation, we use Sentinel-2 and Formosa 5 data to establish multi-temporal and spectral satellite image data set for banana yellow leaf disease. By using Sentinel-2 image to analyze the multi-temporal NDVI and NDWI indicators of large-scale banana field in the first place, and apply the normal spectral indicators of healthy banana field to establish a growth model in order to calculate this infection probability. In particular area is preliminary determined to be infested. The high-resolution satellite image from Formosa 5 will be used to validate the area, and monitoring results will be informed to OISA to carry on-site investigation and report the final result. This research improved the efficiency of this disease monitoring by quarantine authority and reduced the risk of huge economic loss caused by the large-scale outbreak of banana yellow leaf disease. In conclusion, STI is indispensable to address the international development challenge. It's empower and enable stakeholders with knowledge and wellness need to address real development problems. And Taiwan ICDF, as professional foreign aid agency, will keep implement STI practice with our local team to identify the local need and plan countermeasures to achieve a better resilience. I think I will conclude here, and I will pass the floor to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting, Mr. Yunpeng Wang. I'd like to invite Ms. Inbal Bloom, who is the Business Development Manager, Growth Division of the Israel Innovation Authority. She is an agricultural engineer specializing in water and soil. Among her previous roles, she was the Sustainable Transport Project Manager for the Israeli Ministry of Environmental Protection. She's a graduate of Technion University in Haifa, Israel, where she completed both an MBA in the Faculty of Industrial Engineering and Management and a bachelor's degree in agricultural engineering. She also holds a master's degree with honors from the Faculty of Natural Resources and Environmental Management at Haifa University, where she specialized in policy and energy. And she received a Master's of Advanced Management at Yale in 2018, where she focused on the connection between business and environment. Inbal, the floor is yours. Thank you very much. You can share your presentation directly.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tanya. I'm really honored to be here today. I'd be happy if you can open up your cameras. I'd love to see you all. I think we have here like a lot, almost 60 participants, if I'm correct. So I'm happy to talk to you. Hi, nice to meet you, everyone. So I'll share my presentation. Thank you. 1 second. Do you see it? Yeah, Tanya? I don't see it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't see it. If you want assistance, I can also.
Wait, I'll try again. 1 second. I think nobody sees the presentation. Maybe no.
Oh, maybe only I don't. No, go ahead.
Oh, no.
Yes, you don't see it. Okay, 1 second. Sorry. I'll try to wait. Stop sharing, and then I'll try again. More actions. Share. Okay, do you see it now? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. So do you see it now the full presentation or with my notes?
With your notes.
Okay, I'll just try to change it. Okay, how is it now? Great, okay, so we'll start. So I'll start with who we are, okay? I think it's very special that we have here in Israel an Innovation Authority. We are a statutory organization. It's like a crown organization, if you're familiar with. It's an agency under the state legislation and not directly under the government. So we don't have politics here, okay? We are fully budgeted by the government. For the last 20 years, our budget stays the same, and even during the corona, we have helped the economy and got even more finance to help out companies. And we have a board of directors, which are partly from the government and partly from the public and from the investment committees. So when we have and decide who to choose and who to give money to, it's both governmental, governmental and the public sector that understands, if this company can grow or not. The Israel Innovation Authority was formed about 5 years ago, but the activity was actually a spin-off of the Ministry of Economy, where the Israeli chief scientist was operative almost 50 years ago. So what is our mission? We want to strengthen the innovation ecosystems, keep it going, okay? If we see places that there needs to be an intervention, we help there. We enchant the economic impact today. and we want to enable emerging disruptive technologies. We have a very big project using drones here in Israel. We want to try to create a new ecosystem, in the sky. We've seen that this kind of drones, it's not, we want to say it, the people, it's as taxis, okay? We want to see people use it more for deliveries. And we understood that there is a business potential for companies to try out here on the field in Israel to try this drone ecosystem. And this is something that we enable, that this kind of disruptive technologies. Our budget is $1.5 billion. We have about 3,000, actually, I think it's more today, applications a year. And we have a very special principles of our investment. Okay, we call it conditional loans. It means that if you fail, you don't have to return your money. Okay, it's very good because people take a risk. Okay, people can take a risk with our money. Also, there is no equity, so there is no dilution of the companies, and we ask for a matching. Okay, what does it mean? We give between 20 to 50% of your funding for your R&D, and the rest, we want to see that there is a private sector also wanting to be a part of it. Okay, we will not give money if there is no, someone on the other side that wants to help as well. Okay, so we want to fund companies that will grow. Okay. And also, I gave you the example of the drones, but we want to enable the market. Okay, we don't want to lead it. Everyone can give us, we work bottom up. Okay, everyone with their new idea can send it to the Israel Innovation Authority, and we can see by our criterions if it's working or not. So again, talking to our mission, as I've explained, we want to invest in R&D, in innovative technologies. We want to gear up for future technologies and also make enable activities, remove barriers, and okay? For example, when we have to do it, a lot of time to remove barriers, you need to have collaborations. Okay, so in the drones, we have the Ministry of Transportation with us. Okay, we do it together with more ministries and the regulators in order to make it happen. Let's go on. If we're talking here about resilience today, I'll say that climate tech is something that we are investing in, and we're looking at it very, very closely. It's energy, water. Okay, water here, it's very known. Israel in the water sector, construction, industry, agri-food. And we are giving money, also from the very early stages to pilot stages, and I will talk about it soon. What makes Israel so innovative country? Everybody says Israel is a startup nation. There's like a joke that everyone in Israel or had a company or had a startup company or thinking about it, the next startup company. And we're always want to make something innovative. So why is that? So this ecosystem here in Israel, we have growth companies and unicorns. We have MNCs here. We have the government. The army is also very strong and doing a lot of innovation and R&D as well. The startups, the academia, and also the private sector that's also funding because they understood that there is a potential here in Israel. But we don't want to be just the startup nation. We want to step up and to implement innovation and to become a better nation. Okay, we've understood that once you have a product or a technology, you want to try it out, and it's very hard. We call it it's very hard to do it, on the field, and that's why we have started the pilot program to implement innovative technologies in various beta sites. Okay, so today, is the government and startups working together? Is it a new normal? So yes, it is. it is a new normal. We have a collaboration with 20 governmental entities. We've already gave out 300 million shekels. I think it's already 300 pilot projects, and the aim is to give accessibility of the state assets and public infrastructure, and also regulation, as I've talked about before. We are creating a win-win situation. Okay, we're exposing the government ministries to advanced technology. Okay, and they understand, the government, when they see the technology, what kind of regulation needs to be done. Okay, in order to create this kind of technology. And again, this win-win situation, in the end, the governmental entity can benefit from this new efficient technology, and the startup is trying its prototype in the field. Many times I'll say that the regulatory information accumulated in the government companies is the limiting and essential factor to develop the technology product and to try it out. After the first pilot experience for the startup in Israel, and upon recipient of this, information, the technologies managed to reach a high level of maturity and sell the technology worldwide, and develop entire companies here in Israel. Call it whole companies. Okay, we want that the IP will be in Israel, but not only the IP. We want, even the production and the marketing. We want to create whole companies here in Israel. So as a result of this amazing program, government companies are exposed to Israeli high-tech, implement processes in an innovative and a very fast way. So we're talking about government facilities as beta site, okay? Again, we're talking about this win-win. We're solving a true problem, and companies benefit from the field testing option. I'll say that here in Israel, we have a lot of governmental companies. For example, Mekorot. Okay, Mekorot is the water company here in Israel. We have the rail, the train system. Okay, on the railroad, you can try out your technology. The electricity company. Okay, so startups can, try out their technologies on the field. But of course, I'm talking here like it's very ideal, like it's easy, but no, it's very hard to implement innovation. And I think my colleague showed before and talked about, really great processes in the banana field, but it's hard. Okay, because a lot of time there is no incentive to do innovation. And there is, there is a very regulation, in the procurement process, for example. And when you try a technology, things can change, all the time. In order for it to fit, the technology changes all the time. Also, the evaluating it can be different. There is a lot of changes along the way, and people don't like to take risk. Okay, they want to succeed, and when you're trying out we're piloting with a company, it's not assured that you'll succeed. So what is the role of the governmental partner in this collaboration? So once it's very important to identify and characterize the challenges, to have this regulatory assistance if required, okay? For example, if we take it to the impact world, okay, so in the environment ministry, there is like a green, track to get to understand what kind of regulatory you need for your pilot, okay? If you have hazard materials in it, so this is something very important. Also with in 5G, okay, to try out your technology on 5G system, you need to get a license for it, okay? So we do it very fast for the companies working with us. Of course, budget and criteria for their selection. Okay, we have our criteria. We want to see innovation, but there is another criteria with each of our governmental entities. We are what we want to see in a pilot program. Okay, we want to see like a prototype. We want to see that it's already ready. We're talking about technology readiness level 6 till 8. Okay, meaning we want to see it's almost before you enter a serial production or commercial entry into the market. Okay, in the end of the 2 years that we give money to, we want to see how you need to have a prototype. this is how this is all very legislative. Yeah, it's how you can see it. What we're looking for exactly. Want to see the improvement, the adoption of this existing technology, and we give up to 50% for up to 24 months, and there is no limit of the amount of the pilot funding request. This is what I talked about earlier, the valley of death, why it's so hard to get in. This is our criteria. So we want to see that there is technological innovation. We want to see that it's difficult. Yeah, we would like to take risk here in the Innovation Authority. We want to see, the team, your team, that all of you can have the same, what the capabilities that you need. And I would end my presentation and say that we have a very amazing program with Taiwan, okay? And maybe Tal Ben Avner is here. Maybe you can open your camera and talk. So this is Tanya, maybe I'll send this to you, and you can share with the participants. Until the June 21, sorry, you can get money as well, both for R&D and pilot, and get connection to Taiwan, both Israeli companies and Taiwanese companies, and get up to 50% of the funding. Tal, maybe do you want to say hello as well? Is he here? I'm not sure.
Well, we're gonna have. Wait, can I ask you though? Can I ask you to speak later on? We're gonna have a session with a discussion with participants, and I'd be really happy if you stay and participate in that and open it up for Q&A. Is that possible? Because we're running slightly late, then I want to start with the next session after Inbal finishes as well.
Oh, okay. Like right after it, yes, Tanya. When is it? We have
another session, and then we have a discussion.
Okay, sure. I will check. Okay, no problem.
No. I know that you have a very busy day. So if Tal could stay and participate in that discussion, we'd be very happy about that.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. So I will end with that. That the best way to predict your future is to create it. And I think there is very innovative people here, and I'm happy you're here. And I think this is exactly what we're doing. So thank you so much for. Wait 1 second. I have to. Okay. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'll see what I can do, Tanya, to stay later. Of course. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation, Ms. Boone. Now we are moving on to the next session. Best practice in the strengthening development assistance through STI. It's a pleasure to hand the stage over again to our moderator, Mr. Tanya Marcus.
Thank you very much. I know we're running slightly late, so I'm going to go straight into it. We're going to begin with 2 presentations from the Israel side, and then here from our partners from ICDF Taiwan. It's my pleasure to invite Ms. Molly Bernstein to speak. She's the Innovation, Information, and Impact Coordinator at Israel-Aid. She began working at Israel-Aid as the head of mission in Lesbos, Greece, and later joined the Israel-Aid HQ team as Development and Communications Manager. Molly holds a BA in Arabic Studies and Government and Politics and an MA in Contemporary Middle East History, and is currently working on her PhD with research focusing on Middle Eastern history. Molly, the floor is yours.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Tanya. It's good to see you, and it's good to see so many familiar faces here. I'm wondering, great, I'm going to share my screen if that's okay. And here we go. So I think it's really pertinent that we're all sort of speaking very much around the same topics, and I think there's a lot to build on from the last few presentations. So thank you, everyone. This, I want to sort of give you guys a glimpse into some of the work that Israel-TaiwanICDF doing to collaborate with the private sector, specifically in the realm of humanitarian aid. So Israel-TaiwanICDF is an Israeli-based NGO. We have missions all over the world in around 15 countries. It's constantly growing. Just last month we were in Turkey. Now we have also a mission that opened up just a couple weeks ago in Malawi. And we work in 4 different sectors of intervention: in health, in education, in mental health and psychosocial support, and in water, sanitation, and hygiene. And the question that we are really looking to ask ourselves is, how can we promote private sector innovation as a driving force when we respond to humanitarian challenges? And a lot of our belief is that there's really a lot of shared value, of mutual value in conducting this kind of work. And we really want to bring in, just as Inbar was saying, really want to bring in the private sector and the propensity for innovation and for creative thought into our field as well, and really think about how we can create a benefit for all the parties involved, right? So of course, for us, we're very, very strongly focused on the beneficiaries of our programs, the people affected by humanitarian crisis that need support. But we also want to figure out how that can be balanced with the needs and the interests of these private sector entities. So this is an example of one specific pilot that we did over the last 2 years in Colombia. We've done a number of these pilots all over the world in partnership with the Paris Program for Global Innovation. And this is just one example, but I'm more than happy to later in the discussion section or offline to share more information about our other pilots. But I just want to do a little bit of a dive in here to talk about this specific case study. So this program was looking at a community, at a very rural and remote community in Colombia. It's with an indigenous population in an area called Garcia Mana in Colombia. And we're talking about a desert region where there are extremely limited resources. So we're talking very, very little water, but also limited access to electricity. And we were looking for a solution that we could provide safe drinking water to this community. The groundwater in the area is salinated, so it has too much salt in it, and we needed to figure out how we could treat the water in a way that makes it drinkable for the community. So what we did is we found EasyPack, which is an Israeli startup that had a really impressive and innovative solution that basically uses reverse osmosis, which is a whole technological thing that I won't even attempt to explain. I hope that many of you are also familiar, but again, offline, I'm more than happy to attempt to explain that. That can take salinated water, remove the salt molecules from it, all off grid. So we're talking about solar panels and a system that really can function without major connectivity needs. So basically, through the process, we worked with the Paris program, and together we worked with the company to sort of identify what are the needs of the company and what are the needs of the community, and how can we balance the two partners' interests in conducting a pilot that really addresses exactly what Inbar was just speaking about in terms of her valley of death. I love the expression. How can we basically use the pilot and leverage it as an opportunity both to provide the added value for the community of a system that can solve a really difficult problem and offer them some sort of solution, while also offering the company some really important feedback that's implementable, that's efficient for the company, and that's meaningful for their ongoing development as a company. So basically, the main assessment questions we looked to answer in the pilot is what's the added value of the technology within the humanitarian environment, right? They have other customers who work in the private sector who have different user experiences, have different needs, are looking for different added value. So really looking to define what the added value is, what the mission statement of the company is when we're talking about humanitarian settings. Of course, that begs the question: is it relevant for humanitarian settings? And if so, then great. And if not, then what are the adaptations that could be made to the technology, and how can we provide that feedback to ensure that it is pertinent within these settings? And then understanding what the implementation model needs to be. what's sort of the package around the product itself, the system itself, that is necessary in order to ensure that the community has the ability to continue functioning with the system, and that it becomes a useful and organic part of the community and of the infrastructure locally. So the program involved a number of different aspects, including training for a local water committee that was actually run entirely by women who decided how and where to manage the water and how to upkeep the system. We visited the local school, and there we ran a number of activities around why safe water is important, why we need to make sure that we're drinking water that is safe for drinking. And actually, we worked also with the community to create a financial model that could help make it sustainable for the community to run the system. So, for example, in this community, there are 2 neighboring communities that also don't have water systems. And the system that we placed in Garcia Mana, they basically sell the safe water to the neighboring communities, and that pays for the maintenance of their own system. So through this process, we learned a whole host of lessons about this specific implementation model and about this specific system. So, for example, we learned and confirmed, and we already knew that the level of contaminants removed by this system were extremely high. We put the number at 91% based on the data that we collected. We found that the system is extremely relevant for the context. In fact, yesterday, another system has arrived in Colombia for a different remote community off the coast of Cartagena, and we're in the process now of speaking with the municipality of Cartagena, who is interested in purchasing and implementing many more systems for many more communities who currently are dependent on water. It's not trucking, it's ferrying of water to islands, but water trucking in sort of the colloquial manner of speaking. We found that the system was really, robust and able to provide the ongoing support even in relatively challenging conditions. And we really saw that also the system that we found that the system really also created an awesome jumping off point to really engage the community in water, sanitation, and hygiene knowledge. And we're continuing to work with the community, using this as sort of a diving board to discuss other issues around water, whether it's for agriculture, whether it's for sanitation, and for the safe use of other resources. And we're sort of learning more and more about how innovation can also inspire sort of a larger wave of change around it when there's a system that really challenges and causes us to rethink. It's sort of again it's a bit of a cliche in the innovation world, but really disrupts what's happening in an extremely positive way. So we had a number of different lessons learned. In addition, that there were some challenges with the electric aspect of the AC versus DC electrical system. So that's a very simple thing for us to give to the company to feedback and to work on that. We had some technical use guidelines, so like a battery, more solar batteries that could be charged. We loved the way in which EasyPack was able to provide ongoing support remotely. And we really believe in the both the income model and also the utility of creating a community, a water committee in the community that can sort of maintain the process. And so again, this is really just one example. We have a whole host of other pilots that we've implemented with the Paris program and with other partners, both in Israel and abroad, where again, we create this sort of mutual feedback where we're also able to bring a really cutting edge technology that addresses some really difficult issues within the humanitarian world, while also bringing really valuable feedback and information for the company that then they can use to leverage their presence in the humanitarian market specifically, but also with other customers that can provide a customer base for their growing company. Overall, in terms of the scope of the larger collaborations with private companies, we've also learned sort of across the board of all of our pilots a number of different lessons. So again, we're really looking to solidify what is the specific ability that we have, the added value that we have to bring companies and private sector products into our world of humanitarian market, and how can we open this market up for companies in a way that genuinely brings added value to the companies themselves, not just as a donation, but also as really as an investment in the company's capacity and interest in working in these worlds. And we really see a huge amount of potential in that realm. Otherwise, we learned a bunch of different sort of factors here. Also, the immense power that the collaboration between these different worlds, right, between the private sector and us as an NGO, different worlds, we have different jargon. We talk about beneficiaries, not customers. We talk about added, and we don't talk about the amount of money that we're making. Like all these things are a little bit different, but that there's an immense amount of shared learning we can do when we come together to collaborate on a project like this. And of course, also we bring with us a plethora of humanitarian expertise, of really being able to sort of sharpen where and how these things can be useful and how we can contextualize the technology in a way that is most efficient. So that's sort of our story in terms of the pilot fund. And I'll stop there. And of course, I'm here for more questions if anyone has, both here and offline. And back to you, Tanya.
Thank you so much, Molly. And yes, I invite you to stay with us for the discussion session that will take place straight after this one. I'd like to invite Anton Dritz to join us. Anton is an international development expert with extensive experience in integrating WASH infrastructure development in humanitarian context. He possesses strong entrepreneurial and data-driven skills and has recently joined Monday.com in their emergency response domain as a digital emergency response solutions manager. Anton's goal is to develop data-driven digital solutions that enhance emergency response efforts, benefiting NGOs and governments. Anton, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the introduction, Tanya. Hello, Taiwan ICDF representatives. Thank you for hosting us, and we are very excited to see and explore potential collaborations in the near future. With your permission, I will share my screen and the presentation. 1 second. Do you see my screen? Hello? Can you see my screen? The presentation? Yes. Good. Thank you. Okay, so let's start with a very high-level overview before we dive into our initiative and going into details, the different projects that we have made last year. So the next slides just will emphasize the main reasons that we at Monday.com decide to take proactive decisions and to intervene in the sector of emergency response. We see the trends that in the 2021, the global disaster events monitored on 432 disasters annually, comparing to the other 2 decades that in average were 347. So we see here pretty direct increase of disaster events on a global level. We see the trends on the geographical spread where most of the disaster events appeared. We see that the disaster has no boundaries, and it doesn't matter if we're talking about a developed or a low-income country. We see that in India, in Canada, heat waves caused to 815 mortalities in 2021 in USA, etc. So this slide is just to show that there is no boundaries. It doesn't matter which country you locate at, the disaster will hit you in that or other time. we see that the disaster causing a huge financial loss on a GDP level on the countries that experiencing these events, and we can see that just in 2021 there were $252 billion of losses caused by natural disasters on global scale. And these trends bringing us to the final slide that's showing the financial gap that been created from the requiring funds for humanitarian aid on a global scale. We can see this graph very clearly that this is the funding requirements, and this is the received one, and the gray area, this is the financial gap that the humanitarian organization facing with on supplying disaster relief operations during emergencies. And yeah, this was a background. As Tanya said, my name is Anton Drez. I'm an international development expert, and the few last slides, it just was a glimpse to the trends that concern us as Monday.com, and we decide to make a proactive decision and go and see how we can bridge the financial gap in the humanitarian sector in the lens of emergency management. So Monday.com, we initiate the emergency response team, but before we going into details of what is the team and what is the functionalities that we are placing within our expertise, I would like to give you a glimpse what is Monday.com. Monday.com, it's a complete non-code work OS platform. It's a high-tech company. We empower teams to accomplish more within their operation. This solution is very simple and flexible that can be scalable in any team operations. 70% of our pay clients, they are non-tech savvy. So basically what it means, any of our partners don't need any in-depth technical skills like programmers or developers, which is usually the technical limitations of NGOs to go through digital transformation. So we just removing these limitations by providing our system. Our platform can be suitable for a small scale organization from 2 people and up to 7,000 people organizations. We're operating in 200 plus countries and 200 plus business industries on a global scale. Basically, if we would like to simplify that and to separate that in 3 main pillars, so we're talking about manage anything everywhere. You can manage processes, manage them, and monitor any workflow within your organization, or projects, cross projects communication, and data repositories for centralized communication channels. And yeah, Monday.com Emergency Response Team, it's an initiative as part of Monday.com CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility Philanthropic Initiative. And we at Monday decide to be more innovative and to leave the conservative philanthropic approach of donating money. We decide to be proactive and donate by these 3 pillars. So first of all, the company committed for 100% product match for each dollar revenue that the company makes. This is the same 100% match to the donations. 10% equity donation throughout philanthropic foundation. So basically the annual revenue, 10% of it going directly to the philanthropic initiative to support NGOs and governments for enhancing their emergency response performance, and employee time volunteering 1% of their annual time. And in one sentence, the main aim of emergency response team is to scale the impact of aid organization responding to disaster throughout the digital transformation of their core emergency operations. In the last year, we've been privileged to support over 15 disasters on a global scale. You see here the map of the different events that we deployed to in Americas, in India, South America, and all other countries that you see on this slide. And this is a very brief sum of percentage of the disaster types that we dispatched to. So we see that 36% were floods. The other one is hurricanes, typhoons, etc. So how basically we helping and supporting NGOs? By three main ways. So first of all, we proactively joining our partners on the ground, boots on the ground. We know that without that, it's always challenging to take and to implement our platform. So we joining our partners, NGOs and governments in any missions that they are going and study and hearing their main pain points in terms of information management. We customizing and characterizing the different workflows that can be digitized based on our platform. And this is what leads us to the second phase of designing and building, tailoring our platform to their ongoing data pain points management. And of course, the main pillar will be the training to make sure that our partners will have a complete ownership of the platform that we contributing for them to avoid any dependencies or anything similar. So some common use cases that we utilize in our platform in terms of disaster management. So we have the know-how of creating use cases for raw data collection, analysis, and learning from the stage of raw data collection from the ground on as initial needs assessments. We know how to create use case of resource or capacity of digital management, data sharing, cross-organization collaborations, and reporting like M&E procedures, internal and external. And if we will elaborate a bit more in depth what each of the sections means, so basically data collection and analysis, we're talking about needs assessment, experience, how to connect the information flow that coming from the field directly to the dashboards of the decision makers that need to have a real-time dashboards for streamlining the situational analysis on the ground, mapping of communities, geographies, and resources by utilizing our remote data collection tools, real-time situational analysis, as I said, and priority setting to see how you as a decision maker can make the right decision based on evidence in real time. This is an example how a simple form that can be created based on our platform can be shared with all of our partners, volunteers, or other relevant stakeholders. Every submission of these forms that can be adapted and tailored to your needs will automatically in real time will streamline the data and will segment that by the way that you need to see that, which will enhance your decision-making processes. Then we go into the other use case of resource capacity and capacity management, inventory and distribution management, procedures, budget management, people management, and of course, time-sensitive and agile intervention implementation. And this one, again, based on our comprehensive dashboards that we can create and customize for your organizational needs, we can create automated alerts that will get your attention for specific unexpected events on the ground, real-time visualization of the data that you're receiving, the raw data that you're receiving from the field, integration with other apps like a bunch of other private sector third-party companies that integrated with our platform to make sure that we are not replacing existing habits of digital solutions operations, but rather just creating one-stop shop for any digital solutions management within your organization. And then team collaboration and streamlining. One of our expertise is to establish command center, EOC, emergency operation centers, which assisting in cluster management and cross department and organizational collaboration. One use case that's very useful in this regard, it's a regional 4W review. We actually digitized this use case and created an actionable dashboard for decision makers as a national EOCs, Ministry of Health, or any other UN agencies that take in the role of coordination of multiple actors in measurement and evaluation for the response operation management and impact, donor and stakeholder reporting. And basically, just to summarize all of the dimensions that I just mentioned. So we know how to our platform basically is essential for emergency management. It helps to underpin evidence-based decisions, eliminates any redundancy and resource waste, saves time by automating disaster management processes, and bridges cross-organizational collaboration, as we just practices that in different deployments in the countries that we saw here. And our main success factors, it's to make sure that our partners that we donating completely in kind for free our services, IT equipment, and our SaaS platform. So the success factor is to have one, the needs. It should be a very clear need of specifying and prioritizing the needs of our partners. What are the digital pain points that we are going to solve? Dedicating team. We know that our platform, it's not a black box, it's not plug and play. We are requiring some commitment from our partners to dedicate a team that will be our champion and will lead the organizational implementation of the digital transformation based on our platform, and which leads to the last and the main success factor. It's ownership, to make sure that our partners will have a complete independent ownership to roll out this platform. And this was a very quick presentation. Please feel free to scan this QR code. It will take you directly to our Monday ERT website, where you can find more about our operations. You can sign in for our monthly newsletter, and you basically can sign in also to apply for our partnership program and eventually to become our partner, that we will be operating and supporting your operations as part of our CSR initiative. So Tanya, thank you again for hosting me, and this is a great initiative, and I'm super excited to see what type of collaborations it will bring. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anton. Okay, I'd like to please invite Mr. Jason Ju-Chan-Tuan. Again, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing names. Who is the project manager of International Cooperation and Development Fund for TaiwanICDF. He is currently in charge of the flood warning capacity improvement for the Belize River Basin project, and has accomplished the Belize Urban Resilience and Disaster Prevention project for the last 4 years. Prior to TaiwanICDF, he has served as the Geographic Information System Engineer in Taiwan's Council of Agriculture Information Management Center for Unmanned Aerial Vehicles, Aerial Photography, Geographical Data Analysis, as well as the Intern Research Assistant of National Science and Technology Center for Disaster Reduction for Flooding Data Analysis and Disaster Potential Mapping. He holds a Master of Science in Geography from Chinese Cultural University and a Bachelor of Science in Geography from Chinese Cultural University. Mr. Tuan, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Hello, everyone. I'm Jason, a project manager from Taiwan ICDF. Today, I will introduce the result of our disaster prevention project in Belize and our future direction, hoping to provide a reference for how technology can be applied in developing countries. Next. Belize is a country located by the Caribbean Sea, with a large portion of its land being low-lying coastal area that are easy to flooding during hurricanes. Because the weather forecast and the observation data are not enough, people can only focus on post-disaster recovery instead of early warning. Next. To help Belize address this issue, we have implemented 2 disaster prevention projects in Belize. The Belize Urban Resilience and Disaster Prevention Project from 2019 to 2022, and the Flood Warning Capacity Improvement for the Belize River Basin Project from 2022 to 2025. Our project had 3 main objectives. 1, we update the basic map and data. 2, importing scientific monitoring technology from Taiwan. Taiwan has faced a lot natural disasters. We have a lot of experience and technology to solve these problems. Third, strengthening pre-disaster preparedness abilities. Next. Firstly, we collect at least 9 basic maps, including roads, electricity, and important facilities as the foundation reference data. We also collect nationwide DEM data with a resolution of 12.5 meters as the basis for flooding simulation. Next. In the first phase of the project, the area for our flood simulation included San Ignacio, Santa Elena, and Bully Tree 4 villages. This area gathers a significant amount of water from the upstream watershed and is the confluence of 2 rivers, as well as an important population center, making it a critical area. Next. We use terrain and rainfall data to simulate potential floods, creating 10 flooding maps with scenarios ranging from 50 millimeter to 275 millimeter within 12-hour time frame. This map shows different flooding scenarios based on the level of rainfall and highlight the area that are possible to flooding at a different water level. Next. During the August 4, 2020 flooding event, we confirmed that our simulation results were successful. The flooding depth of the simulation matches the actual flooding depth, shows that our simulation results are highly reliable and can reflect the real situation. Next. Based on our research result, we established 4 hydrometeorological monitoring stations to monitor water level changes in real time. The data will automatically transmit via 4G network to the database of the National Meteorological Service of Belize and provide water level information to the flood warning system. Next. Here are the photo of our installation and the detail of the equipment at each station. We have also incorporated with the existing station data from the National Meteorological Service into the flood warning system. Next. In our system, we combine real-time monitoring information and flood potential maps in the flood early warning platform. This system can integrate all the data and clearly show which areas will be flooded in our simulation scenarios. By calculating the rainfall and the rate of water level rise, we can issue warning messages for a specific area. Next. The system can also help the Belize government make the right decisions, and it includes various historical data and multiple maps. It integrates data that originally belonged to different units, giving decision makers more information to make the right decision. This is also the resource that the Belize government lacks the most. Next. Belize was hit by Hurricane Eta in 2020, which brought massive rainfall and caused a serious flooding. As shown in the photos, we can see that the Bully village was affected by the flooding, and the only bridge in this area was submerged. This caused significant harm to the safety of the residents' lives, properties, and transportations. Next. These are a photo of the commercial and market area in the center of St. Ignacio, submerged by the flood water. This city is the second largest in this country, with a population of over 50,000, including surrounding villages. This area is not only the economic heart of the city, but also the one of the most flood-prone area. Next. Our monitoring station has fully recorded the entire process of the water level rise. Based on this information, we have designed the warning areas and the warning value of water level. In the future, when the rainfall and water level reach the warning value, the system can automatically send out an alert. We provide this early warning to the city government about the incoming flood in this flood event. As a result, no one lost their lives in this flood. And due to the early evacuation, property damage was also minimized. Next. In 2019, we organized a quick response team training in Taiwan to strengthen the disaster prevention abilities of Belizean technicians. By visiting Taiwan's disaster prevention unit, everyone was able to share and learn from each other's experience. Next. Physical training is not possible due to the COVID-19 pandemic, so we also offer online courses from 2020 to 2021. These courses cover various disaster prevention knowledge. We not only provide this training material to the Belizean officials, but also to local university students. This allows Taiwan's disaster prevention knowledge to expand to next generation of police. Next. In the first phase of our project, our early warning system was only available for the government. However, the communities on the front line still had to rely on the government's disaster response capabilities. Therefore, we have included community disaster prevention measures in the second phase of the project, expanding our early warning technology to local communities. We have also introduced Taiwan's community disaster prevention technology and experience to enable community residents to achieve disaster reduction more quickly. Next. In the first phase of our project, we found that Belize's critical infrastructure is very fragile, and it is the only one in this country. For example, the airport in the photo is the only international airport which was used by our president during the visit to Belize in this month. However, this airport is also threatened by flooding. In the second phase of the project, we will enhance our observation capabilities and disaster warnings in this area to help them establish better disaster response plan. Next. Conclusion. We use technology to monitor weather and hydrological conditions, providing real-time warning and alert. Technology is utilized to conduct risk assessment and disaster simulation. We can design more effective disaster prevention measures and emergency plan. We strengthen the connection between technology and disaster prevention, promoting the development of a disaster prevention culture and capabilities. SDI are key to the future development of disaster prevention. It needs to be explored and applied to build a safer and more secure society and environment. Next. Suggestion. We're using SDI tools to in developing countries. The level of infrastructure must be considered. It is necessary to consider whether the local technical personnel have the ability to meet the basic requirements. The sustainability of the system's operation must be considered for the future. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you very much. I'd like to invite Dr. Harold E. Chin Tan, who is the Vice President of Taiwan Integrated Disaster Prevention of Technology Engineering Consulting, Ltd. He previously served as the Director of Center of Weather, Climate, and Disaster Research at National Taiwan University. He's been actively involved in disaster research and prevention and has become a leader in the field of water conservancy, engineering, and disaster prevention. He leads a team for the structural inspection and monitoring, geotech monitoring, information service, foundation pilot test, landslide flow observation, water conservancy monitoring and reporting system, water conservancy and disaster prevention, environmental engineering, traffic engineering, and other services. He's also implemented case studies of flood early warning systems and technological disaster reduction in Belize, Nicaragua, and other countries. He received his PhD in biological and environmental engineering from Cornell University, as well as both an MS and BS in agricultural hydraulic engineering from National Taiwan University. Dr. Tan, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you, Tanya. My name is Ichi Tan. Call me Harold. Next one. Can you read me? Okay, good. My topic, I have two topics. One is STI of my company. Another one is groundwater monitoring network and the flooding resilient community in Taiwan. Next one. Okay, that's my background. Okay, I think that I am dealing with disaster research, resilient community, and some groundwater monitoring and hydraulic and hydrology. Okay, next one. Okay, according to the University of Cambridge, okay, that's the world city, the mega city risk in 2015 to 2025. Okay, in 10 years, so we have a lot of damage. Okay, next one. Okay, you can. So you can see that number one is Taipei. Okay, so the GDP loss about $202 billion. Okay, and I think not include Israel. Okay, but it's nearby. Maybe the number 5, Tehran and Istanbul. Okay, but it's not include Israel. Okay, next one. Okay, my company, how to dealing with disaster. Okay, usually we are dealing on the left hand side, this one. So you can see that that's climate change. We're doing downscaling and make some flooding routing, and the land make some social economic situation and the land subsidence evaluation. And we do some intonation and simulation. But very important is storm surge. Okay, another one is my company is dealing with investigation of the highway bridge. Okay, this is very important because the usually the this kind of bridge must maintain every year. Next one. Okay, some TDR in hydraulic structure. I think everybody maybe understand. So while working for the hydraulic structure, we use the TDR to detect if the leaking or anything in that one. Next. Okay, another one is I do some research for the Israel from the times of the Israel. Okay. You have the flooding in 2020. You have the but you don't have the too much drought. I am so I think it's a total different. Okay, next one. Okay, this one is I think the in 2020 January. Okay, and the recent complaint about the government ignore the warning of the poor infrastructure and the clogging of the drainage, but therefore there was 2 persons die. They are complaint for that one. And my question is, do I have any stone search in there? But I think in Taiwan, stone search is very important part to us. Next one. Okay, drought. Usually we know the drought is come from, so we don't remember that because they don't have the name. Okay, because a prolonged period of the abnormal low rainfall. Okay, next one. So you can see that's in Taiwan. Okay, that's every year. But you see sometime for these 2002, they have 7 months the drought, and 2007 is also the 7 months. So now this year is another the drought years. So we have the water shortage in our country right now. Next. Okay, I think you know that the flood warning in the police. I think the Jason Duan has been the presentation. I just mentioned something very important part. Next. Next one. Okay, that's the first time we go to there. We have the three professor to give the talk. My talk is the flood control in the capital city, and this is our student. And this one is a PhD student, a professor from the Belize University. I think that they are working very hard for want to knowing understanding the take the knowledge about the disaster. Next one. Okay, this one, so you can see that the Hurricane Eta, they have the no report for after loss of life. That's a very important part. Okay, because we are doing the non-structured method. Okay, we're not do a big structure, only non-structure. We have the evaluation and with the resilient community. We are trying to use the different method. Okay, but we have to do some engineering part, not too much. Next one. Okay, that's the report from the newspaper. Next one. Okay, that is the project in the future. Okay, this is the Belize city. Okay, if they have rainfall 200 millimeter for the 12 hours. Okay, stone surge is a half meter. So airport with flooding and the highway with I think there's a lot of problem here. Next one. Okay, another one is groundwater monitoring network and the flooding resilient community in Taiwan. I think the two presentation about one is talking about groundwater in the Colombia. Okay, another one is mentioning about resilient community. Okay, next one. Okay, I compare with the Israel and Taiwan. Okay, the area Israel is 2/3 of Taiwan, and half land is the plain, and the other half is the desert. desert. Okay, Taiwan was 1/3 is plain, 1/3 is hill, and 1/3 is high mountain. Okay, but you can see the rainfall in Jerusalem only less than the 600 millimeter, and you can see the Taiwan is almost 2,500 millimeter, and I think the people in Taiwan is more than the Israel. Next one. Okay, some water resource management in Israel. Okay, we do some homework. Okay, we find something is very important part, and we can learn. Okay, because they are better than Taiwan. One is the drip irrigation. Okay, and then recycling use, and this thermal exchange technology. I think the water green. I think it's one company. It's a very important part, and you have the seawater desalination of 5 SID. And pipe leaking detection. Okay, only 8%. Oh, that's very impatient. Okay, in my country, it's almost 20%. So I think that is very important. I think it's very effective in the Israel. Next one. Okay, but the water resource management in Taiwan, I think something is very important. One is the groundwater monitoring network. Okay. Another is the land subsidence mitigation and the monitoring of the land subsidence and the flooding resilient community. Okay, next one. Okay, this is the groundwater monitoring network plan. Okay, I'm in charge for this program. Starting from the 1992 to and now I think it takes 70 years. Another one is the land subsidence mitigation. Okay, that's starting from 1995. Now is still to now. So I think that it's very important. So you can see next one. Please, next one. Okay, so you can see the groundwater area here is the mountain area. This is the plain area and here. Okay, so some most of the 1/3 the plain we already have the groundwater. So the average is one station is 25 kilometers square. So totally we have almost 700 groundwater monitoring wells. Each well, I think not only one layer, maybe 3 to 4 layers. Next one. So you can see this is the layer, okay, and we know each one is the dragging, and then we can make it the hydrological profile in that area. Okay, that is where working take out the rock. Okay, next one. Another one is the land subsidence. Okay. So we use the satellite use the inside method, INSA and the GPS. In the ground, we take the survey, okay, and we have subsurface, okay, under the ground. So you can see that how is very important because we have a land subsidence. So it's a very important parts, okay. So you can see this is high spillway. Okay, next one. And next, please. Okay, so you can see that this is the land subsidence with the high speed rail. Okay, this red one is the high speed rail. Okay, so you can see that the damage in the center part here, and you can see this is the land subsidence area, and they are going down. So because we have the monitoring system and can understand what is happening, everything. Okay, next one. Last topic is to establish the disaster resilient community. Next. Okay, what is the resilient community? Usually, we want the people help themselves in the community on 17%, and in the mutual aid, it may be from your neighborhood only 20%. From the government on public rescue only 10%. So that is our principle or for the resilient community. Next. Okay, this is the flooding, the resilient community. This is the drill. We have the patrol and the caring and the evacuation and the refugee. So that every year we take this kind of drill in different area. Next one. So this is the actually evacuation in the community disaster. Okay, so you can see they have the national award, excellent about this as a governance. Okay, they got even though they got the AIT certificate. Okay, for the recognized. So you can see, but where the equipment come from? Okay, next one. Okay, these equipment usually is the donate by the local enterprise. Okay, maybe the boat. Okay, the helmets. Okay, and some clothes and as a model, something like that one. Next one. Okay, this most from the local enterprise. Okay, so you can say 7-Eleven. Okay, the bank. Maybe you don't know this one. This is a North Face. This company make the North Face the clothes in the whole world, but they donate a lot for our resilient community. Next one. Okay, in Taiwan, this kind of community is only have 542. Okay, and the volunteer is about 1,500. So I think that's very important for in Taiwan for our government. Okay, next one. I think that my conclusion is I think the groundwater monitoring network in Taiwan is very important. Okay, and we have used this tool to warning for the overpumping. According to the Israel Times of the Israel report, I think water risks are more important than the flooding in Israel. Israel don't have too much flooding. Taiwan have a lot. And the resilient community in Taiwan have the 452 units and 1,500 for volunteers. Okay. So, and the most equipment they are donated from the local enterprise, and the team and the my team and my consultant company will welcome all the from Israel or if Israel government or officer or engineer they want to visit Taiwan, we can cooperation in the future. That's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Duan and Ms. Tan. Now we are moving on to the discussion session. It's a pleasure to hand the stage over to our moderator, Ms. Noya Mozafi, the partner and Israel director of Asia Bridge.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Good. So I don't have any presentation because this session is all about our speakers. And you will have an opportunity, the people and the guests and the crowd will have an opportunity to ask them questions of their own after the first session of Q&A. Since we don't have Tanya to present myself, I'm gonna do it for her. My name is Noa Mutsafi. Chinese name is Fei Noya. I'm a graduate of Tel Aviv University and Renmin University of China and East Asian Studies. And also I have an executive MBA from Kellogg School of Management in Northwestern University. And in the past 10 years, I've been focusing on building innovation bridges between Asia and Israel in different sectors, private sectors, governmental sectors. And since COVID, I have my own company with 12 partners across Asia, Taiwan included. We focus on accelerating market access and other facilities to make the ecosystem closer together. I also have some experience in disaster relief and international development from the Pearce Program of Global Innovation, where I was the head of Asian programs since 2018. So this is a great honor for me to be one of the moderators in this important session. So thank you, SID Israel, Tanya, and Taiwan ISDF for hosting me today. 谢谢大家. So we had almost 10 speakers in the past workshop. And there's a lot of similarities between Taiwanese and Israelis that most people don't know about. Both the state of Taiwan and the state of Israel emerged as young nations in the state of emergency. In the last November, I visited Taipei for Meet Taipei conference, and I had the opportunity to visit Madame Kai-shek House with the National League of Women in Taiwan. And I discovered about Madame Kai-shek amazing work in emergencies and disaster relief. And she dealt with a lot of famine, hunger, and also diseases. And she had to collect a lot of refugees and for the young state of Taiwan. Israel has a lot of common because Israel is going to celebrate next week its 75 year of independence. And in Israel, the early years of Israel, we had to deal with a lot of wars, collecting, and also getting and new citizens from across the world, and a lot of state of uncertainties. So Israel and Taiwan has a lot in common from dealing with disaster, but also we have a lot in common on dealing with innovation and innovation exchange across the world. As an island economy, Israel is also considered to be an island economy. We have to innovate all the time. But what is so special about Israel and Taiwan is that we also share this data and state of mind with our countries that we are working with on a daily basis. So this is something very unique and special. And if you wanna learn more, please connect me after. So I think that what was so special today that most of our speakers talked about the need from the ground, collecting data, but also creating corporations. I think that Molly said something that touched me dearly. She said innovation can inspire the wave of change around you, which is something very true. Once you start that wave, it hits other countries, but in a good way. And I think that Dr. Tan, Anton, and Jason, all of them spoke about the importance of creating a shared database, but also to create a strong and important infrastructure. So when you move from a state of routine to emergency, you're going to glide straight into it, and it's not going to be as complicated. But also, Mr. Yumping, Inbal, and Ivry spoke about the importance of corporations with innovation ecosystem, which is something very important and unique that both Israel and Taiwan holds. So my first question is dedicated to Inbal, Molly, and Mr. Yongping. I would love to hear your thoughts about what are the work protocols between sectors, and especially work protocols between Taiwan and Israel, but also the region, if possible. So this one goes to Molly, Yumping, and Inbal. I see that you're here. Good.
Yes,
Inbal,
I know.
you want to start?
Sure. So I think between sectors, you mean countries, or between sectors, you mean between government and companies? Like what, or do you want me to
Sectors,
talk about
governmental entities, but also between governments. Governmental entities in the local region, but also in the international regions.
Okay, sure. So I can say I work a lot with governmental entities here in Israel, and I think one of the most important thing that I've done, actually it was during the Corona time. You know, in the Corona time, everybody like understood things very, very fast. And one thing I understood that there was some governmental entity that, kept, the collaboration between the Israel Innovation Authority and kept getting money, and some that didn't, okay, that they didn't know how to get the money, during that time, and it was very stressful. And all the time I was connecting, between, okay, this the space, I don't know, for example, the space entity ministry got money, talk to this to the governmental company's entity, and I was connecting people all the time, and I understood that this is this knowledge, it's power, okay, and I need to, why not connect everyone to be together, okay? So I've formed, a form for innovation in government, and all of the entities that are working together to learn from each other. And we have a very active WhatsApp group I'm in charge of, and people are, asking and getting answers in like 3 seconds, the most, because each one has, this kind of knowledge that maybe this governmental entity needs. So this is and also we are meeting, every 3 months, every quarter. I'm creating a very nice like meeting where we learn from each other, and also give some skills that usually you don't think about it, very soft skills. So for example, last time we had a program about how to speak and how to convince your the CEO of your ministry to give out money to innovation. I talked about how it's so hard to it's risk, a risk to do innovation. So how to convince your CEO that it's good to give money for this kind of programs. And as for the the country level and collaboration, I think it's very important, because a lot of time the companies here in Israel can also, change a little bit, and for example, we talk about the agriculture and the bananas. So of course, there is sometimes very similar crops, but if not, a little twitch can change. You can change something and collaborate. And I think here you can find very great companies. And here in the Israel Innovation Authority, we would be also happy to help you and connect. There is even a special a form you can write out, and we'll connect you to the relevant people. And also Tal Ben Avner is specifically in charge of this collaboration, and we'd happy to match you with companies. So now it's on the ball is on your side.
Thank you so much, Inbal. And I would mention Miss Audrey Tang, which is nowadays the Taiwanese Minister of Digital, but back in COVID, she was the Minister of Health, and she was highly applauded by all sectors and the international community by how she dealt with COVID. And I was lucky enough to get to know her and meet her on my last visit to Taipei. And one thing she talked about, very similar to what Inbal just mentioned, is that they opened a WhatsApp group, but also open forums for people to deliberate and share their knowledge during that time and also after, which is something very unique. And I think you always get the best outcome from sharing knowledge from the public in order to make all of the needs of the governmental entities and also offices operate best. But I think that now we can move on to Molly. I know that you have a lot to say. You talked about the list of recommendation and help with cooperation that you drafted during your time operating with the pilot of EasyPack and during your time with PERS program, and also about how important are WASH technologies. I would love to hear what you have to say, and I'll repeat the question for you. What are the work protocols between sectors? It can be both local and international.
So thank you, Noah. I think it's exactly, your question is exactly the question that we're sort of wrestling with and that we intend on not fully answering, because we really believe that depending on the context and who we're working with, we want to have the flexibility to really create a sort of tailor-made solution. What I can tell you with certainty is that, well, not certainty, but pretty close to certainty, is that the humanitarian sector will not have all the solutions, in the same way that Israel as a country won't have all the solutions, and Taiwan as a country, like no one's going to have all of the options, and that's where collaboration is so critical to make us work. And so so what's critical for us is to really be open to figuring out and sort of working as we go to figure out how we can bring all the various partners in to make sure that we're as successful as possible. So we have some guidelines that help us sort of navigate the collaboration and really what is a little bit of a clash between the humanitarian sector and the private sector that can create some tension. But what we have is sort of like a guidebook for what we think can help make that work better. But what we are sort of our real value statement within this is that if everyone comes to the table and if everyone has genuine individual interest from their side, from their perspective of what they want to accomplish in a pilot or in a program together, then we can sort of find a way to meet everyone's aspects on their Venn diagram. So that's where, for us, we're always seeking out private sector products that their creators, their innovators want to offer to the humanitarian field. And we're always looking for any kind of partner who wants to sort of approach that concept with us in an open-minded, sort of creative, innovative approach. And then we're going to work together to figure out how that works. So another example that I didn't even speak about is with Anton with Monday.com. We had a program with them, and I specifically didn't speak about that project, but that's an example where a full-fledged high-tech firm came and brought their product to us, and we figured out how to build a program that really brings everyone's strengths to humanitarian challenges. And that one was specifically within the context of vaccination and COVID, and how can we ensure that within various countries with limited capacity to maintain a cold chain and to ensure that delivery is consistent, et cetera, that all that data management could be done. But really, we believe that just about every product that is offered by the private sector can be and should be relevant to humanitarian aid. And that's where your question is exactly the question that we're also sort of wrestling with is, our doors are open. We really like to, well, I really like to solve the puzzle. It is not easy, but we're always looking for sort of the other side that wants to come in and say, okay, yeah, let's figure out how this can work. And so I'll also make that a little bit of a call to everyone in this session is like, please reach out if you have a vision, and we want to work with these kinds of innovators to figure out how we can bring any sort of solution to humanitarian situations. Yeah. And I hope I answered your question without answering your question.
Yeah, it was perfect. And also you also touched a bit of the question that I'm gonna ask now, that the challenges is because there's always changes. I think that both Inbar and you, and also Dr. Tan said that the challenges is because things are never stable in this part of occupation of what we do. But also, I might say that things are never stable in the geopolitics. I think field that we are working. Technologies are changing, but the world is changing, and our job is always to be up to date. So my next question is going to be addressed to Anton from Monday.com, Jason from TaiwanICDF, and also Dr. Tan. I would love for you to share how to build a shared infrastructure of data sharing, but also cooperations that can be implemented in time of emergency. Because all three of you spoke about the importance of building a very strong infrastructure, and all of you gave case studies and examples from your own work and from recent years. I think that having our audience leave this day with specific tips or methodologies will be priceless to wrap up this important workshop of the day. So Dr. Tan, I would love you to answer first. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Noya. I am the teaching for my whole life, okay, and but I'm retired. But I'm retired. I think I'm still can work, okay. So I'm go join the private company, and so you know, when I was in the university, I usually told my colleague about the university capacity building to help the local government to set up the resilient community. I think that's very important, okay? Because the community, usually they don't need help, okay? I think some, maybe Molly is talking about the Colombia, right? About the groundwater, they will have very good, poor groundwater. But I think that maybe, okay, our two countries can give some good idea, okay, help to make the very good the groundwater, okay. Maybe they can gather very. I think water is very important. I have one question about the Israel. Okay, your rainfall is only 1/4 of the Taiwan, but you have a you don't have the shortage of the about the water. I think that is not amazing to me, because the I think the I mentioned about you have 5 the seawater desalination plant in your country, but you know this kind of the water must use the energy to change, okay. Especially for you have very good a lot of energy, I just transfer to the water resource, okay. Usually, so I think that, so I think it's a total different. So after my survey, I think this one, I think in the your country, maybe we can learn each other, okay. So the cooperation from the water resource, from the disaster research, okay. In my country, we don't have this kind of the problem about the clogging in the pipeline, something, okay. Maybe so in Taipei, next time you go to Taipei, I can show you if the rainfall 100 millimeter was less than 100 millimeter, only a few minutes, everything is gone. We don't have the clogging like I mentioned 2020 July 1st, January 1st. So about you have clogging, so the water cannot drainage out. So that's in Taiwan, that's impossible. Okay, but I think that we can change experience each other. Maybe next time you invite your group, okay, your country person to see what we have done here. So I think that Taiwan is very good in the flooding, okay, in the water resource. But
thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Chan. Dr. Tan, I'm sorry, but we have to wrap up very shortly.
Okay.
I would take your invitation, and on my next trip to Taipei,
okay,
I would
good.
love to visit and learn more.
Okay.
I would love, thank you so much, 谢谢. I would love Jason from Taiwan ISDF to answer the question as well, if he's still with us. Hi, Jason. I'll repeat the question for you.
Okay.
How to build a shared infrastructure of data sharing and cooperation that can be implemented in time of emergency. And I would love for you to answer from your own experience. Thank you.
Okay. The data sharing is very important because several units have several data. They actually they don't want to share it. So you need to talk to them and convince them this is important. They don't know what they can do because maybe every unit have their own data, but they don't know how to use it. So we know how to use it. So we need to convince them to share it to us and share it to each others. So everyone can know, oh, you have that data, I have this data, so we can do something more. So that's the most important thing. We need to sit down and talk about it, and that everyone knows the data is very important to share its benefit to everyone. So this is my experience.
Thank you, Jason and Dr. Tan. And also, I would leave closing remarks by quoting Anton from Monday.com that is not here, unfortunately. But during his presentation, he talked a lot about the importance of infrastructure, but also providing the right design, but also tools and guidance during their training and places of disaster relief, and they're also how they guide and train the local teams in order to use their platform. And also Mr. Every Verbing, who talked a lot about using guiding hands and needs from the ground in order to create a better disaster relief in humanitarian section. So thank you to all of our speakers. I had a pleasure moderating this session. And Tanya, the floor is all yours.
Okay. Thank you, Noya.
Thank you very much, Noah. I think we are at our closing remarks. We are running over time. I know that we all wanted to have a bit longer on the discussion. But since we're already at 11:15 here in Israel, I'd really like to just take the opportunity to say thank you so much to all our speakers for their time today and really giving us a lot to learn and think about. And I'd like to say thank you to our audience, and most importantly, I'd like to say thank you to our partners in ICDF. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I really look forward to future collaboration. I know this is probably, hopefully, the beginning of some collaborations between the organizations that took part today. And I've already received in my own WhatsApp, can you please connect me? Can you please connect me? So I think that's a great sign looking ahead. So once again, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Tanya.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. First of all, on behalf of ICDF, I should thank everyone, especially all the speakers, for your excellent presentation and also very active discussions. I think today's topic is through scientific technology and innovations to tackle the climate change and the disaster management. So I will say that scientific and evidence solution and data-driven decisions are quite essential and crucial to maximize the development outcomes. And Taiwan and Israel have very similarities in STI, and I think both our two countries are strong in science and technologies, although our two countries don't have enough human resource, natural resources, but we have very strong active innovation sectors and also human capitals. And through today's webinars, we can see that through this kind of exchange and the best practice are very useful. So I think in the future, we can continue to select or choose topics which are mutual interest to deliver our individual experience from Taiwan side, from Israel side, to share our mutual, values of our active contributions to the world, especially through the SDGs number 17 global partnerships. And today, I think all the participants through contribution in different topics of innovation, collaboration, especially public and private sector collaborations, and data management, data use, and water management and technologies. So all these are essential to move forward to the sustainable developments. And in the future, except for we can continue sharing of our best practice and development experience for medium and long terms. I think we can also think about through training, through exchange of consultancies to continue our mutual cooperations. And time is time is up. And my colleague Jason, right now he's in Belize, and in Belize time, right now is 4:20 a.m. So I will complete my conclusion, and thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Before ending today's webinar, we would like to invite everyone to take a group photo. Please turn on your webcam and prepare your wonderful smiling. 1, 2. One, 2, 3.
Good.
One more. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, everyone.
谢谢，再见。
Thank you.
Da da dee da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da